My walk behind bush hog is probably my favorite thing I own. This is a DR Power Pro 26. It has a 14.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton motor on it, but if you were gonna buy one today, they replaced the 14.5 with a 15.5 horsepower motor. I'm gonna throw it through two quick tests. One's gonna be on tall grass like this, and then behind this I have some pretty heavy brush that we're gonna mow down, just a small section of so you can see how well it works. So let's show you how it works, and then we'll talk about the pros and cons afterwards. That was pretty easy. I don't know if you could see, but there was a couple of thorn bushes inside of that grass that was almost as tall as my head, and but it went through it no problem. Let's go check out something a little bit thicker, a little bit denser that you couldn't even walk through if you wanted to. 5 minutes ago, this was literally thorn bushes, but this guy took care of it in minutes. So let's go over the pros and cons of this bad boy. So one, this thing is awesome. It goes through saplings pretty much no problem, and you can run it for a really long time on the gas tank that it has. There's enough safety features that I'm not worried about my little kids accidentally starting it up and running each other over, but not so many that's a pain in the ass to work on. If you can't tell, this one's not a hydrostatic drive. I actually used a billy goat before I bought this. I rented a billy goat for a job that I was doing, and it had hydrostatic, and I personally just didn't like the hydrostatic, especially in really thick brush. I felt like it was difficult to maintain and control because I couldn't change the speed. It was really just go or not go, and you had to kind of feather it. I wasn't that good at it. Maybe if I had used it longer, I would have been, but I opted for like a standard, put it in whatever gear you want and just pull the lever down. I like that way better on this. That being said, I just saw DR Power at the Equip Expo a couple of days ago, and their new ones are hydrostatic, but it looks like a little bit different version than the one I used with Billy Goat back in 2021. That being said, I've had this for 4 years, and I've had a couple of issues with it, but nothing that was too bad. I had an issue with the electric clutch that I had to fix. It was completely covered by warranty. One phone call, they walked me through the process. It was really easy. Frankly, I don't remember what the problem was, but I remember it was easy enough to fix, and even though it would have cost me a couple $100, the warranty covered it no problem, so I would get that extended 3-year warranty on it. Not to mention that you shouldn't have that same problem because in the newer models, it has a different setup, so that problem was eliminated. There was some type of piece, I think it was a fuel solenoid on this side of the motor, that all it really did was stop it from backfiring after you turned it off. It went bad after about 3 years, and I did replace that. Granted, it was with an aftermarket part. That one went out again, so I just did a delete option. All you really got to do is take a small bolt and put it up in there to stop it from leaking. I've been running it that way on this property for about 4 months with literally 0 issues, except every once in a while it backfires after I turn it off. As far as the blade goes, this is not the heavy duty blade option that they do sell, and in 4 years, I've never sharpened it. Now, I can feel it right now. It's pretty dull. I probably should take it off. I just haven't gotten around to it, and it still cuts great, so oh well. I also had a battery die after I left it on. Totally my fault. Literally just bought a new battery, plugged it in, super easy. I bought this one after I had started a small, like residential sized bush hogging business down in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this was the lifeblood of my business. it worked really well, and it was great that I could get it back into a backyard where a traditional bush hog wouldn't have really worked and you would have had to do most of the work by hand. They do sell a little hour counter that you can put right here. I never bought it, so I never installed it. I have no idea how many hours are on it. I can guess that it's in the couple of 100 hours of use, but again, I never really tracked it, which means also that I never really kept track of exactly when I needed to change the oil. It just kind of got done when I remembered to. One of the things that I really like about this model though is that it's really simple to change a belt if you ever need to. It's done by hand. All you got to do is take this off, and there's also some accessories that you can buy, like a snowblower, which we don't really have a use for. You can also buy a little plow, a wood chipper, or you can even put a finish mower on the front of this. The air filter is really easy just to pull off and check by hand, and these no flat tires have been great because I've never gotten a flat. Since it's a Briggs & Stratton motor, it's really easy to find parts. Most places carry them on hand, and I've never really had a problem getting parts, whether they're name brand or aftermarket, and there's a ton of aftermarket options that are a lot cheaper, but like with that solenoid, if you get the aftermarket, it just, you know, it might break. One of the big things that I hate about this that they've fixed in the newer models is there's no hand guards for this. When you're going through thorns and things like that, or even just any kind of brush, it's easy to get your hands caught. A lot of times what I did is I just put really thick, heavy welding gloves on, and most thorns wouldn't get through that, and it made it a lot easier to get to. But on the newer models, like I said, I just saw them at the Equip Expo a couple of days ago, and every single bush hog had those little hand guards around the edge, and it just makes it such a better experience. If you have any other questions about the DR Power Pro 26 model, I'd love to answer them down in the comments.